And welcome back to my F1 League Racing season. And if you are new around here, make sure you check out the card in the top right hand corner of your screens to go watch back the whole season and what has happened so far. But this is how things are looking after 10 rounds of the championship. DM Guy leading the way by 69 points. Nice. Over me at the moment. I'm currently in P4. And this race, we really need to start to overtake and beat DM Guy in the championship if we want any chance of having a shot of challenging for the title at the end of the season. In the constructors, though, things are looking really, really good. Ferrari leading the way by quite a bit over Aston Martin. But now we head to the Jeddah Street Circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and we're going to be watching my qualifying hot lap around this circuit. Braking hard now down in towards turn 1, taking as much of the curb on the left-hand side as you possibly can get away with, and again on the right-hand side. A little bit down so far on my previous best lap time. Now heading down into turn 4. Now take as much curb as you can on the right hand side, and then again on the left, and then again on the right, and then just flow through this amazing section, cutting the corner as much as you can possibly get away with. The car, we lose a little bit of downforce through the right-hander, but we are still about a 10th up on our previous best lap time. DRS open as we head down into the hairpin, get it tight on entry, and then allow the car to float all the way to the outside of the circuit as you get your foot down to the floor, heading in towards this, again, fast flowing section. A little dab on the brakes. You don't want to go too hard on the brakes, otherwise you will kind of overshoot the corner too much. But we flow through there nicely. Now we're about 2 tenths up on our previous best lap time, throwing through these, not really corners, it's completely flat out as we go purple through the middle sector. Now again, a little dab of the brake as you go fast through the left and then the right, and then into another flat out section. DRS open, hug this left-hander as much as you possibly can to gain every single thousandth of a second. Braking into the hairpin, I noticed the car on the inside, it put me off ever so slightly, but we just broke a little bit too hard into the corner, overshot it and lost all that time. It is still going to be an improvement, but not by much, and it does put me into P7 for the time being in qualifying. As you can see by my face in the webcam, not happy with it at all. It does mean that we are starting P8. Like I said, we need to start fighting up at the front if we want any chance of really getting into this championship fight. And things at the moment aren't looking that way, qualifying in P8, but we've seen many times before, we don't necessarily qualify that well in this series, but we do a lot better job in the race. We have better race pace, and that's hopefully where we can gain in this race today, because we know we have some good pace in this race. Okay, we've seen that in qualifying. We were able to set a better lap time, but now we need to show it as the lights come on, our engine revs, and we are gonna go racing here in Saudi Arabia, and we are off. And it's currently P8 at the moment. It's not a good start for ourselves as Daki goes for a great jump, goes right around the outside, just taking it cautiously into turn 1. And turn 2, have Sandy Baggy now going for an overtake on us as well. He loses the back end ever so slightly on traction, and that allows me to regain P9. Now following this little train of Daki, we've got Sherlock, we got Nicholas, and a couple of cars ahead of them as well. So just following these guys is a bit of a shame because we're going to lose the front running train of DM guys, Smowley and Markin, but those guys' pace, unless we have any strategy or tyre wear, stuff like that, they're just too quick for me at this stage of the race. But Sherlock going wheel to wheel with Nicholas Swain, and we just have a little touch there on the back of Daki. It was enough to unsettle the car, and it allowed a very easy overtake for us. It's a bit weird to overtake someone in that way. Fortunately for us, he did not report us, so we kind of got away with that one just a little bit. But now moving up into P8, a little bit of a cheap move, but I guess we just got to take it and get on with our race. And if we do get hit with a penalty, at the time being, like the idea that I was thinking of, if we did get hit with a penalty, we just, you know, it happens to us at the end of the race. We just got to get on with it as Sherlock goes, we go past Sherlock there. Into the last corner, and after one lap we've moved ourselves up a position. We may have lost some positions at the start, but we move ourselves up into P7 as it looks like Sherlock coming into the pits very early on. Onto the back now of Nicholas. No real chance to go for an overtake into turn 1, so we just kind of back off it for the time being. No real need to fight him at this stage because we want to try and catch up to Helium and the driver in 4th position and see if maybe, you know, we can battle with those guys and get a good position. We're again having a little look again on Nicholas. He goes defensive. I didn't really want to go for the overtake again, but because he went for defensive, I just broke in my normal position. Happened to go round the outside, but I was never going to pull off that move. We just didn't have enough pace to really go for it. And now we're in the slipstream. It's Nicholas Swain, Joe Boak, and Helium. And now we're going to get the job done on Nicholas because we want to get in that fight with Joe Boak and Helium. So we go hard on the brakes into turn 1, right around the outside. And this time showing the pace. We go wheel to wheel with Nicholas through turn 2. Very good, respectful driving between the two of us. We hold it wheel to wheel, but using our ERS, we get ahead into this left-hander. And it takes 2 to go through this corner. And luckily, Nicholas was the guy to back out. If neither of us backed out, it might have resulted in a collision or we would have gone really slowly through there. So thankfully, Nicholas decided against it, and we managed to come out on top in P6. Now attacking Joe Boak and Helium. I didn't really want to overtake at this stage, but these two were just going so slowly that I just thought I had to do it. I had to go past them. So I moved myself up into P4. Joe Boak has a little look up the inside of this corner, as does Helium. They're both going to get the DRS now. So we go defensive on the inside line because I know I'm quicker over one lap. That if I can just stay ahead into turn 1 and turn 2, I can get the jump on both these guys. Helium holds it around at the outside. We give him plenty of room through turn 2. He gives us no room whatsoever, and we have been sent into the barriers on lap 7 of this race. We did a very nice job there to get the car turned around and not get in anybody's way, but our front wing, well, we've left it back there at the exit of turn 2. It's completely gone now. Helium just putting us straight into the walls. We overshoot that corner, and now just trying to make sure we don't get into anybody's way. It's a very tricky place to be going so slow. It's really dangerous at this stage. It's a shame that a safety car was not brought out because that's something that we really needed. Losing another position now to Sherlock at a whole lap around Jeddah with no front wing is really going to hurt you more than some of the other circuits on the calendar. So now we're down in P16. Tim most likely gonna jump us as well, so is Siny, and unfortunately for us, you know, 7 laps into this race, whilst things were looking so promising, you know, maybe getting a P4 in this race, even higher. We don't know how this race is going to unfold yet, but things right now, we're down in P19 in this race. I think we're gonna stay ahead of 256 because he is even further behind. But on lap 9, starting lap 10, Tim comes into the pits. I think he's got a bit of front wing damage after maybe having a collision with somebody else, so we're going to jump him, and Rickert also into the pit lane. So moving our way up through the field, we're up into P17 now for the time being. Lap 16 of this race. We are actually catching up to Peruna, and we've also got Sherlock into the pit lane as well. He's got 9 seconds of time penalties at the moment. Yellow flag is out. Sherlock is in the pits. I believe he's retiring from the race. Unfortunately, that was the way that this race went. A lot of drivers were mainly retiring in the pit lane. We didn't want to give up. There was a chance that this race was going to stay as it is. Sandy Baggy now coming into the pits where we weren't going to necessarily gain on them. But if a late safety car comes out, a lot of drivers ahead of us have penalties because it's very easy to gain penalties around this track. If that were to happen, there's a great chance that we can get back in this race. Lap 20 out of 25 now. We're going on the attack of Peruna. Daki now DNFing, so that's going to move us up into P13. Anyway, as we overtake Peruna on the right-hand side, braking late into turn 1, and we are going to move up into P13. TJD now 17 seconds up the road, as is Max Duca. And Smiley wins the race. That was our race start. Unfortunately, just taken out by Helium. He did get a penalty in the end, but unfortunately, due to all the other penalties, we still don't score points, which means for the first time ever in our league racing history, we have not scored a single point. Really disappointing, but that is how things end up in the race. The Drivers' Championship means that we are now out of it, unfortunately. No chance mathematically that we can fight for the Drivers' Championship anymore. And as for the Constructors, we lose out quite a few points, but we are still 46 points ahead in that one. But that is it for today's race. I'll see you next time as we go to Mexico. But until then, it's goodbye from me.